Alrighty, CNT140, we are working on our Backbone Links lab. So I've opened up the lab direction page here, downloaded that as a PDF onto my machine, and I have that ready to go right here. And I'm also downloading the packet tracer file that's here onto my machine, opening that up, and I have that ready to go here. So these are the two pieces I need for doing my lab. Okay, so what are we going to do? In this lab, we're going to actually hook up all the systems here with copper links, make sure everything is working and functioning. Once we do that, we are then going to migrate a number of the connections over to fiber that would typically be in a building, you know, between your switches kind of thing, maybe between your routers. So we're going to go through putting in some fiber modules and fiber cables between them and get everything functioning again, and gathering proof that all this is functioning. So that's what we're going to do in this lab. Do some copper links and then replace some of those with fiber links. Okay, so to start off with, I have some reminders here about between routers are going to be crossovers, between router and switch will be straight throughs, and there's also a reminder map here, or a map of what we're actually going to connect up. Alright, so let's start off here in the first area with our copper links. We're going to connect our Harrisburg and Pittsburgh router together, and we're going to pay attention to the ports being used, gigabit 01 to gigabit 01. So we'll use a crossover copper cable here, gigabit 01 to gigabit 01. And there actually is configuration already on the routers, so you should see those links come online. Now that I have between my two routers, I'll do router to switch with a copper connection. So router to switch here is going to be a straight through. So in this case, it's going to be 00 to my switch. I have to remember on our switch, we're going to do gigabit 111. That's what it is. We're going to do gigabit 111 down here at the bottom. And we'll do the same thing over here on this side. 00 to gigabit 111. And now between our switches, this will be another crossover cable. We'll do 112 to 112. Now this would be two switches maybe on two floors of a building. So we're going to do 112 down here to the 112 on this guy. And we're going to repeat the same thing on the Pittsburgh side over here. And again, we're kind of simulating a maybe a two-floor or two-wing building. And we're actually having connections between those switches, like some backbone links between those switches. Let's connect our PCs in. We're just going to connect our PCs with a straight through. And we'll go into basically the first port that we have here. Same thing on this guy, into the first port that's here. And we're going to end up repeating the same thing on the Pittsburgh side. 0 here into the first port on the switch. 0 here into the first port on the switch. So we now have everything cabled up. Let's do some IP configuration on our PCs. We're going to input the static IP address that's listed here next to the PC. So I'll slide that right over. Desktop, IP config, static. We're using 192.168.60.10 for this guy. We can leave the default subnet mask alone. Gateway 192.168.30.1 for this guy. We don't need to worry about DNS. This is just a basic router network. I'm going to go to my desktop, to my command prompt, do an IP config, and make sure those settings are in place. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to ping the gateway to 168.30.1 and get some communication going. And all that works. All my cabling is working for this system. Let's do 30.11 on this guy. 192.168.30.11. 192.168.30.1. There we go. And again, I'm just going to ping that gateway when I get out here to the command prompt. IP config, looking good. Let's ping, and I'm going to paste that IP right in. And we're pinging the gateway. So we know this side of the network, we're off and rolling. Let's get this side over here, 40.10 and 40.11. 192.168, 40.10. 192.168, 40.1. Again, we're going to IP config. And we're going to ping our gateway. And again, I'm checking everything. I'm scanning everything as I go here, making sure all numbers and settings and everything are correct. Looks good. And we're going to do the same thing on this guy. 192.168.40.11. 192.168.40. Oh my goodness. 40.11. Oh, 40.1 for the gateway. There we go. Command prompt ipconfig. I'm checking these numbers, making sure they look good. Ping. And I'm pasting in my gateway. There we go. So both sides of our network here, Harrisburg and Pittsburgh, all IPs are set. And I did a quick little check while we were there on communication. So let's do a full check now. We're looking for link lights everywhere, and I see green link lights everywhere. On here, let's go to the physical side of things. We'll go to the physical side, home, corporate office. We're going to go to the main closet, and we're looking for blinky link lights next to all of our ports. Now, what you'll notice is we have blinky link lights here, here, over here. On these uplinks over here, we don't see the blinky link lights. That's just not coded in, but I see them all over here. And that's the kind of thing I'd be looking for in real life. I'm looking for links on these indicating everything's functioning. We'll go back to our logical. Now we want to look at the routing table on one of our routers. So I'm going to click on the Harrisburg router here, and I want to make sure all networks are here. So I'm looking for my 30, 40, and then this link between the two, which is actually the 100 network. So 30, 40, 100 networks are all showing in my routing table. So everything is cabled up correctly and communicating correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather proof of this. I'm going to highlight this. This is showing that my network is working with all my copper links. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to open a text file. For mine, I'm going to make a plain text. I'm just going to put a note here for copper links, and I'll just put a routing table just so I know that's what I have there. And I'm going to save this as 140 backbone lab. 140 backbone lab.txt. Make sure you have a .txt file extension there. And we'll do save. And I'm just going to keep that handy because I'm going to add stuff to this as I go. So there's my copper links routing table showing everything is functioning. We're now going to do some ping and trace tests between our devices. So I'm going to close my router, and I'm going to do a ping from here to here. Well, this is 40.10 over here. So on this guy, we'll do a ping to 192.168.40.10 and make sure I have communication, which I do. And then I'm going to go from this one to 40.11, making sure again, 68, 40.11, everything is talking and communicating, which it is. What I want to see is a trace route, 40.11. I want to see a trace from this side, this 30.11 over to 40.11, and I want to see all of that working, all of those links working. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste this into my text file. I'll just put here copper links trace, and I will paste that in. So this shows the routing table from all the copper links working, and now a trace across my network with all the copper links working and functioning. So the network as it is right now with all of our copper links is up and functioning as it should. So there's the copper side of my network. When I come back in the next podcast, we're going to remove a couple of the copper links and put in some fiber links.